There has been what I would consider a drug epidemic happening in my town and the surrounding areas. So I'd like to talk about the chemistry of addiction today, specifically regarding heroin. So this is an artistic rendering of a brain, and inside it is a teeny tiny little neuron. There are approximately 86 billion neurons inside our brains, and they talk to each other using chemical signals or neurotransmitters. And these conversations are what allow us to think about, well, anything. And to feel either happy or sad or anything in between. We know that there are a lot of things that affect how well our neurons work, such as drugs, alcohol, or cigarettes. But one of the ones to affect our brains the worst is heroin, a highly addictive, highly illicit street drug. So how does it affect our brain? Well, this is a synapse, the gap where two neurons communicate. And this is the presynaptic or sending neuron. And this is the postsynaptic or receiving neuron. These tiny little hexagons are neurotransmitters. And these are receptor cells. In a normal brain, neurotransmitters are released from the sending neuron and bind to the receptors on the receiving neuron. This opens channels on the membrane of the receiving neuron that allow ions to pass through, causing the neuron to activate or fire, essentially sending the message. However, heroin is structurally similar to a neurotransmitter called endorphin, which can give us feelings of euphoria and allow us to feel happiness or pleasure. So it can bind to the same receptors and activate the receiving neuron the same way. However, these channels are constantly opening when an addict is using heroin, so their neurons are constantly firing. The brain tries to make up for this continued artificial endorphin rush by producing less neurotransmitters. When the addict isn't using, they have less neurotransmitters to send the message, and it's harder to feel pleasure or happiness. So not only does heroin alter an addict's ability to feel pleasure, but your brain is designed to remember and crave what made it feel so good. However, there's often terrible consequences for abusing heroin and other street drugs, and one of them could be death.